Okay, we have our minutes from our last public hearing and also the minutes from the last meeting that was 2 weeks ago from today. Any of y'all that were here, does anyone see any corrections or have any questions about the minutes from the public hearing on August the 24th, 2017? That started at 6:30 p.m. and lasted till 9:39 p.m. Hearing none, I'll sign these into the record. The next item on the agenda is, or the second part of that, is the minutes from the actual commissioner's regular scheduled meeting on that same day. That meeting actually started at 9:59 p.m. after a short break and lasted till 11 minutes after 10 that night. So several of you were here and stayed with me. I guess we were probably about 11 o'clock getting out of here that night. Does anyone see any corrections or have any comments on those minutes? Hearing none, I'll sign those into the record. Under new business, number one, the removal of former trustees of the Lincoln retirement and add new trustees. We were hoping to have this information for this meeting, but due to the weather that they experienced in Tampa, the office that we're working with is based out of Tampa, and we've had delays in communications with them. So I've got just a document here dated today that says the removal of the former trustees on the Lincoln retirement and adding new trustees. This item will be tabled due to not receiving adequate and proper information from Lincoln before the commissioners' meeting today. So since we had publicized that, we wanted to make note that we were not oversighting that. We just did not have that proper documentation yet. Okay, the next item that you'll have a copy of is actually a lease agreement between the HATponics, Inc. and Walker County government. This lease agreement is for $600 per month. It goes from September through December of 2017. This operation has been there for several years, where they have a hydroponics fish farm that they have worked at and are building. The lease that they had prior was was under a different corporate name. They resolved that corporation, formed this new corporation of HATponics, Inc. That former lease was a 99-year lease for $1 per year. That lease was not valid. It did not meet the statutory requirements to be a legal lease between a government entity and a private entity. You cannot enter into lease agreements with a private entity for 99 years. It does not meet state requirements. Also, the lease was only for $1 per year, and that was not adequate for the value of the land to be utilized. So we renegotiated that for $600 per month. So they are in the process of having the property appraised and any environmental assessment work that they may or may not be doing. And hopefully between now and the end of the year, they may make an offer to purchase that property. If not, we'll have to enter into a new lease. This lease does state that if they do come to a purchase arrangement, in Section 8, it does say that $400 of the monthly amount will be applied toward the purchase price of that. If they do not come to some sort of resolution or agreement to purchase between now and the end of the year, they will forfeit that, and all $600 will remain with the county. So this actually was completed, we'll put up here at the top, August 31st, but I needed to sign and do this in public. So they have already signed this. This is actually the original document. And we have already received the September payment. Anybody have any questions or comments on this?
What did you say the $400 was?
In section 8 there, it says, leasing desires to purchase the premises and the leaseor is willing to sell the premises to leasee in the event the parties can reach a purchase agreement accessible to both parties. In the event the leaseor and leasee enter into an enforceable purchase agreement for the premises prior to the end of the term of the leaseor shall allow $400 of the monthly rental payment to be applied toward the purchase price. So they would get a credit of 400 times 4 months, up to $1,600. And then that would still leave the county with a $200 per month lease value, where before the county was getting $1 a year.
Where's this premises at?
This property is the old Rossville Middle School track and field area. It's a 3-acre tract of land that's up there behind the old Rossville Middle School. I'm not sure exactly how long they've been there using that land, but they've put in some ponds to grow catfish and other type vegetables and things that they use to complete their process. Okay, takes care of that. Next item is an intergovernmental agreement that has been conducted between the Elections Board and Walker County government and also the City of Lafayette. This is an intergovernmental agreement that has been reviewed by both the county attorney and also Mr. Womack, which is the city attorney for Lafayette. This is entering into an agreement for the Walker County Board of Elections to actually manage and operate and run the city election that is upcoming in November. This has been done in the past, but basically this has some revisions in the fee structures. The Board of Elections made the determination that the prior fee structure was not covering the cost to conduct such election. So they have an attached fee structure in Exhibit A that shows this cost will be paid to the county of $3,514 for the upcoming November election. And this outlines the agreement and how that will be conducted and the level of staffing and everything that takes place for that. So this has already been executed by the Elections Board. They have voted and agreed to this. So this has been noted there. Also, the City Council of Lafayette has approved this, and Mayor Andy Arnold has already executed this document. And so I will finalize this agreement by executing and entering to this agreement here tonight. Any questions on this? Pretty standard process on that. I think you guys signed it. Okay, the next item that we've got is the opening of the bid packets for the brush and wood grinding activities at the Walker County Landfill facility. Is there anyone here present tonight for the opening of these bids? You are? Okay, got one. Anyone else? Okay, we've got several here, I think. These all had to be turned in and submitted back on, I think it was the 24th. Yes, the 24th of August. Here's one here. It says bid for brush grinding activities. These are all sealed bids that have been submitted. This first one here is from Southern Grinding. We are based out of Jasper, Georgia. Our original company name was Reese Logging, Inc. We changed it in 2009 to better describe what we do. Reese Logging started operations in 1984, and Reese is president of Southeast Grinding. We have 33 employees. In the attached bid, you will see our rates for grinding the material that you currently have on the ground. We would grind and leave the ground material on the ground at your location. We have stipulated 2 options for us to obtaining off-road fuel. Please let us know if you have any questions. References are listed within the bid. More information can be provided if needed. Thank you for the opportunity to bid the job. This is from Melissa Wharton, Wharton, if I'm saying that right, Operations Manager. So this has the format that we sent out with all the appropriate attachments. So we'll take all of these and go through and analyze these and make sure that they've met the criteria. They have their insurance certificate attached. Let me jump back over here. There's quite a few criterias in this. Their grinding rate per hour is $450 per hour, including personnel, Traco at a rate of $125 an hour. Other equipment rate, shredder $150 an hour, minimum of 8 hours metered time. Other equipment, front end loader $125 an hour. I think they said they had 2 options. Looks like one. We'll have to just analyze that. I may be missing something there, but this one here is from Big Woody's Tree Service, LLC. This one was also received on the 24th. Have their insurance certificate. Grinding rate per hour is $300. Traco rate $90. Other equipment rate $90 per hour for a D5 dozer. Other equipment proposed $125 for a D6 dozer with rake. Okay. Says grinding rate per hour $250. Okay, this is where the 938 front end loader with 3 cubic yard bucket and personnel to operate the track code. So that's where we would, isn't that where if we're providing that information, Payne? They're saying their grinding rate's $250. Other equipment is $85 for an excavator. D6 dozer with rate is $85. Or D5 dozer $85. D6 dozer with rate $115. They have all of their attachments and references as well. Information. Okay, so I guess they've been provided 2 copies. That's the same information. This one coming also on the 24th. This is from Ottawa Clearing and Grinding, 12 years in business. Tommy Stanford and Howard Lowell, partners. Okay, on the first option, scenario 1, grinding rate $350, grinder operate personnel $30, track hoe rate per hour $80, track hoe operator rate per hour $30, other equipment per hour shear at $90 per hour, other equipment operate $30, other equipment propose split stumps or bigger logs in to go through the grinder. Grinding material that comes in the yard through 3-inch screen. Front end loader $70, operator $30. Scenario 2, grinder rate $298, grinder operator $30, other equipment rate $75, other equipment operator $30, other equipment proposed splitter $80 to split the stumps and logs, front end loader $60, operator $30. They have their attachments and insurance certificate. This one come in by mail. Stewart Tree Service, Cartersville, who mailed this. This come in on the 24th at 9:40. Stewart Professional Tree Service and Landscaping, 21 years in business. Jerry Haygood. Okay, grinder rate per hour $600. Track hoe rate per hour $150. Track hoe operator $25. Other equipment rate $165. Other equipment operator $25. Other equipment proposed a shear. So Stewart Professional Trees and Landscape Inc. intends to use a CBI grinder TB 6800 and a dozer track hoe DX 225 LC5 with a thumb grapple, I guess that's what you say that? Grapple, thank you. To feed the grinder, and a Hyundai track hoe with a shear mounted to process larger materials such as stumps and logs. Stewart Professional Tree Service grinding is on track, so we'll be grinding the debris from the stockpile and put the mulch on the mulch on the pile of mulch that is there now. The 938 front end loader may be needed sometimes, but most will be placed off the grinder belt. We anticipate 5 to 6 days from start to finish. It's good to know. On option 2, they put NA on everything. Scenario 1, our equipment use approximately 300 gallons of fuel per day. Therefore, Stewart Professional Tree and Landscape will deduct $2.10 per gallon based on actual used. Several letters of recommendation here. Also some brochures of the equipment and the grinder that they'll be using. Their insurance certificate as well. This one come in on the 24th at 1:33. This is from Tally Construction. Okay, is one of the larger heavy highway and general contractor companies in Chattanooga, North Georgia, Northeast Alabama area. Leader in quality performance. Tele Construction understands the understands that outstanding people are key to our success, and we offer our customers a wide range of services. We do with dedicated to our core values. We need our customers honestly in an aspect of business and respect all individuals employed. Talley Construction was formed by the late Neil H. Talley in 1966, a small grinding company. The company was incorporated in 1970 upon Roger N. Talley's return from military. The company enjoyed small but steady growth during the 70s. During 1980, the company expanded into an asphalt business by purchasing an asphalt plant in Rossville, Georgia. In 2000, with the addition of the younger Talley, put in place a more aggressive business plan and expanded the grading division, purchased a bridge company, added 2 asphalt plants, and purchased 50% of a trucking company. Today, Talley services companies including Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama DOT, local governments, private developers, and corporate entities from the corporate headquarters in Rossville, Georgia, and the area office of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Sam Talley. Okay. All right, grinding rate per hour, $270, grinding operator 30, track hoe rate 70, track hoe operate per hour 30, NA on the other equipment. Talley Construction will provide all of the above listed labor and equipment to grind the brush in the most economical way. Second option, scenario 2, grinding rate $210, grinding operator 30, next 3 are all NA. Same statement, will provide at the most economical way. Okay, we've got their attachments, their insurance certificate. Boy, wasn't all that fun. So we'll let the team go through those and evaluate those and make a recommendation back to me for our next meeting. Okay. Intergovernmental agreement between Walker County Water and Sewer Authority and the Walker County government for a joint purchase and ownership and use of a mini tractor and camera. See Exhibit C. Mr. Pangilly, can we get you to speak to this?
Sure. This camera was purchased to be used by the Water Authority and the landfill in our collapse detection system. They'll use it for, like the discussion says, sewer lines, water lines, that sort of thing. But at the landfill, the C&D landfill, we have a series of pipes. We have 21 pipes that run north-south. And they're spaced 50 feet apart, and they run underneath the C&D landfill. And every year we have to inspect those lines with a camera for sagging, cracking, any type of settling in the landfill. And this is done annually. And in the past, we've used subcontractors along with Walker County equipment, jetting machines, laborers, heavy equipment, and the subcontractor and their camera. The camera costs were over $16,000 for that crew. The consultants that wrote the report was over $6,500. And then you throw in on top of that the county costs for doing a lot of the work. It totaled up to around $33,000 a year just to inspect these camera lines. So with the purchase of this camera, with this agreement, we can now go in with 2 people and assess these camera lines every year at a substantial savings. And I think we're going to realize the savings this year with this approach. So we're very, very happy with this.
Will you 2 people have to be trained and certified to do this?
Well, they already are. The Water Authority personnel, they run this camera on a weekly basis.
Yeah, the Walker County Water and Sewer Authority had the camera trailer infrastructure that gives them all the recording devices and everything that they need. So these lines, when they're inspected, when that camera goes through the lines, it all has to be recorded. And then that recording is sent off to the state so they can review that to make sure we don't have any infractions in our monitoring system of those pipes. And so we discovered that once we realized they had the infrastructure we needed, but we didn't have the right type of camera that could be put into those pipes that would make it easier. It's less time consuming. It's also going to be cleaner, because the other one they was having to use water to inject that in there, so it got real muddy. And so by using this camera, I guess for lack of terms, is somewhat robotic, so to speak, so they can remote control this camera all the way through the lines and video all 21 of those pipe systems to see if there's any infractions in those pipes.
Some of those pipes are up to 500 feet long.
Yeah.
So it's quite a journey.
Yeah, so with this agreement, we actually are sharing the cost with the water and sewer company for the camera. And then once they get the camera and software and all in place, then anytime that we need them on an annual basis, I believe it is, got to do this once a year, they'll bring their camera trailer over, their equipment, their 2 men, and will assist our staff in exchange for this joint venture to help us camera our system. And then it also gives them more equipment and cameras that they can use when they're cameraing all of the water and sewer lines throughout their system. So it's a win-win situation for both the Water and Sewer Authority, and that board has approved this purchase and this agreement, and also for the county to share in the cost of the equipment, but most importantly, the tremendous savings it will have on the labor cost and outsourcing this before, and try to defray a large portion of that $33,000 annual ongoing cost. Any other questions on this?
It'll be 15,000 feet for the county, 15,000 for the water.
It's actually a little less than that. The said purchase amount of $21,328 shall be paid in equal share by the parties, so it's a little over $10,000 apiece. Correct? Okay. Any other questions or comments on this? So this will be a great thing for us. It'll pay for itself first year. Okay, takes care of that one. The last item on our agenda, number 6, is the approval of the closing of Peavine Road between Highway 95 and Cape Conley on September 30th between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So we have a letter here. It says, please be aware that I have approved the closing of Peavine Road, block range 3518, between Highway 95 and Cape Conley Road for Saturday, September the 30th, 2017, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Rock Springs United Methodist Church Show and Sell Festival is held each year, and the attendance has grown into making this festival a huge success. Therefore, the closure of this road is to help in the prevention of accidents with the number of pedestrians that will be in the area. Walker County Public Works Department will provide the signs and barricades to the Rock Springs United Methodist Church for the road closure. Walker County will not provide the manpower for the event. All items furnished to provide the closure will remain the property of Walker County. Emergency response units should be able to get through the barricades. The barricades cannot be permanent and will have to be movable in case of emergency response units needed to respond to the local residents. So we will send them a copy of this. Also, we've sent this to all the local emergency services and other adjoining government entities and state patrol to let them know of this road closure so they can log this into their emergency database in case there is an incident or some type of utility failure that needs to be addressed. They'll be aware of this closure, temporary closure. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, okay, that will end our regular scheduled meeting, so we'll adjourn the official business of the meeting, and we'll open up the floor to any public discussion or questions from the floor? Yes, sir.
I hadn't seen that striping trucks nowhere, you know, where they're, but
No, we actually had a meeting with DOT this past week, and it wasn't the right department. Because we asked them about the striping, but they were going to refer that over to the department that did that and get back with Carlin. So I've not heard anything back this week. I'm sure they were all engaged with the storm system, and so we haven't heard back from them. But originally we were told it's supposed to be done before the end of this year. So if we're getting close, we got to be. I'm as anxious as anybody. Who's next?
nothing new on Erlanger?
On Erlanger, no, as far as I know, they're moving forward with their lawsuit against us. They wanted me to enter into a consent order for $180,000, which I did not feel was in the best interest of our county to do. They want to move forward with a jury trial where they can prove in court where they're claiming that they have incurred $180,000 in legal fees and costs to pursue the debt collection for Walker County. I refused to sign that agreement. I was looking for more of a total global settlement of the entire situation to offer them up a payment schedule and a repayment. I have no desire to fight or litigate with Erlanger. I feel like it's been proven in court that Walker County and Walker County citizens owe the money. The federal courts made that clear multiple times. Erlanger is seeking a minimum payment of $1 million every 90 days, once a quarter. I have offered them, after we did the ordinance last meeting, I've offered them $625,000 a quarter. They wanted $1 million a quarter for 9 quarters. I offered them $625,000 for 12 quarters, which come to $7.5 million. Within an hour and 1 minute, they refused that offer. So we have tried to continue to have dialogue, but no indications that we're getting anywhere. So I guess they have a desire to go back to court. So I figure we'll take our chances in front of a jury trial to try to reduce that amount of the attorney fees that they're seeking of $180,000. Once that takes place and that is settled, the next thing that they are promising to pursue is enforcement of their summary judgment. So they have a summary judgment for $8,700,005. So they have the summary judgment, and they say that they will move forward with enforcement action through the federal courts, which could mean up to an additional 7 mil tax rate increase imposed on the citizens of Walker County by Erlanger Medical Center. So we're hopeful that we can work out some type of payment schedule and or show the courts that we are in good faith trying to move forward and sending them money starting the first of the year once the tax revenue comes in, and hopefully they will back off of that and see that we're going to pay it so they don't raise your taxes by 7 additional mills next year.
Well, that's it. If they were to get that predicament, when we get them paid, then will that be, you can knock it back down?
It all depends on what the federal judge tells us. You know, it just depends on how the order is written. I guess the judge would have the latitude to do something less than 7 mills, but Erlanger's committed that they're going for 7 mills.
So people with property paying a whole lot more.
Oh, yes. Because basically our millage rate right now is 9.8 and change. They would almost be doubling our millage rate.
I have to admit, because I've not attended any of the meetings, this blindsided me. A lot of times, you try to do it. But I have to tell you the article that Mr. McGee did calmed me down. Because I knew that you were getting a mess when you came in here, I knew that. And I'd said many times, can the county bankrupt? Because I could see that coming. But when I heard what you were dealing with Erlanger, I mean, okay, I can do it, but I'm thinking of young people that have children in college. If they have, it's falling, the way I read it, it's falling on property owners to get it out, and you're trying to hang on to your property.
Yeah, it would definitely put a hardship on our citizens overall, because it would almost be doubling the property taxes that are being charged from the county. You know, it doesn't double the school tax, doesn't have anything to do with the school tax, which is the highest rate, but it would almost double the county portion.
Well, I did a little bit of figuring, it looks like I'm gonna have to pay like $1,500 more. Just, so, but I understand, I do understand, and I see what you're doing. Trying to get revenue coming in, cutting corners, and I found out Vivi doesn't have a job with the county, that's the first thing that's done.
Yeah, we got that stopped. She's not working at the water company. So, you know, that's where it's in the best interest for all parties to settle this. I mean, Erlanger's not gonna win in court in the end. I mean, they may win on paper, but I think it's going to hurt them in the marketplace. You know, we already know we're beat. I mean, they've got a summary judgment against the county. So that's where it would make sense for everybody to come to some type of agreement and settle this.
And you're sure this is just gonna last 3 years?
Yes, it's in the ordinance to sunset after 3 years.
Because I was thinking when we started getting the fire fee, it was an option, and it was $35 a year. Now it's not an option, it's
Yeah.
way out there.
Well, one thing that's happened with the fire over time is you've got less and less volunteers nationwide, and you're having to have more and more full-time staff, and there's more regulations and equipment, and so that's not going to ever get any better, I'm afraid.
But I have to commend them now. I had a fire go out at my house, and it came from here to that table close to my shop, where all my stuff was. So, and they did an excellent job. So I have
It's
to
good to
commend
hear.
them for that. So.
Good to hear. What else?
Where is court going to be held? Is it in Walker County or Landfill County?
It would be federal court, so I would think they've been having those in Rome, be Rome, Georgia.
I forget.
That's about an
I
hour.
have 3 places or 3 spots in the current we want to go.
But we haven't received a court date yet, so once we get that court date, we'll make that information known. But they were pushing to try to have one in September. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not.
And you are going to publish a budget, shows what
Yes.
exactly we're dealing with?
Yes, we're still working through the budget, and we may even have to have a special call meeting to finalize the budget publicly. Then once we get it finalized, we'll release that on the website, because it's over 70 pages. And so we'll publish that where everybody can see that, and it'll show the historical years, like 2015, 16, 17, and then what the budget requests were from the departments and other elected officials, and what their final budget will end up being per department, per line item. So it'd be a very detailed, comprehensive budget that's never been done in this county.
And then you can understand.
Yeah, that's right. Always before, they were about 2.5, 3 pages long, and it was all summary totals, and you had nothing to compare it against.
Right. You couldn't understand it.
This one will be by line item, by department, and you'll be able to look at the historical data. What else? Good questions.
Shannon, could we get a petition up and ask Erlanger to take it up, easy on us and write letters or whatever? Is there anything like that we can do?
I feel it's really not my position to answer that question in the position that I hold, but I know there are a lot of people that are very frustrated in our county, and I know there's a lot of people that want to be heard publicly or for the leadership of Erlanger to know how they feel. So I'm glad we have freedom of speech.
Well, we do give them a lot of business.
And I'll just leave it at that. We do have freedom of speech. What else? Boy, y'all have gotten quiet.
Getting in our pocket.
Oh. The previous administration got in your pocket.
No, I didn't.
About the stuff grinding, all this stuff, how long are we gonna be over there?
One proposal said they'd take about 5 to 6 days. Now, we're getting an influx in of trees and stuff from the storm, so we've probably increased our pile probably, I'd say, 10% anyway, just after these storms come through. So I would say, that one said 5 to 6 days. I'd say a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on weather and equipment.
Some of that stuff's outrageous, man.
It's an expensive process, but once we grind those up, where they'll go through a 3-inch sifter, we actually are able to sell those grinding chips as part of our recycling program. And there's a plant in Alabama that we sell those to, and they actually use that as a fuel source. And so it keeps us from having to take those grinding chips and put them into our landfill, or we would be in trouble if we had to landfill all that. So we'll generate several trailer loads of grinded chips that we'll be able to use and recycle.
About $1,000 a day.
Yeah, I guess when you add all that up, some of that's going to be,
$600 there, plus
yeah.
100 and something for this, and 90 something for that.
Some of these
Be
grinders
over
are
$1,000, be about $1,500.
Yeah, Payne said some of those grinders are $1 million pieces of equipment.
Yeah, well, ain't no telling how many times they done pay for them.
Yeah. So we anticipate, based off of the normal volume of stuff that comes in, that we'll probably have to do this about twice a year, based off of stockpiling. So we're hoping to be able to save some money from what had been done in the past, and try to do this a couple times a year, where I think in sometimes in the past they was doing it every month.
Well, they were paying for whether they did it or not. They had a flat rate that they paid every month, whether they ground or not. So yeah, we actually will save doing it this way.
So we're hoping to have some cost reduction. I know it's expensive, but we're hoping with this approach, instead of paying a monthly fee if there's anything to grind or not to grind, we'll stockpile it, have a company come in that can knock it out in a few days, and then we turn the meter off. So we're trying to be proactive and manage this best we can. What else? I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, well, that concludes our meeting. I do very much appreciate all y'all coming. This is a good turnout. Be watching Facebook and website. We may very well possibly have a special call meeting between now and the end of the year to finalize the budget. So you'll definitely not want to miss that one. Appreciate you.
You're talking fiscal year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.